Okay friends, here we are back at the canvas. This is a 36 by 36 canvas, gallery wrapped, as you can see, level 3 from Michaels. And this is my color palette for today. I have my instructions over here on the order I'm going to pour. All these paints, most of these paints were mixed custom myself. You know, the orange, of course, is red and yellow. This has a little bit of rose gold in it, as well as a drop of Payne's Gray. The sort of turquoise deep blue also has yellow, blue, and some white in it. This white here, actually, I put some Splendid Gold in just a little bit to give a little bit of sparkle. And then the white. So I'm going to pour them in this order. My goal is to pour the white, half of this, about a third of this, a half of this, another third of the white, half of the purple, all of the red, all of the rose gold, all of this orange, then the other half of this gold. Let's see, then I'm going to put, purple on top of that, the rest of the purple, and white, and then the rest of the turquoise blue. Whew, I think that's what I'm going to be doing. So we'll see once I get started, and I am going to use my strainer again. I had a great outcome with this one here. There's my dump paint, there's my roller I'm going to use to just make sure I cover the edges and corners so that we can get started. I'm going to remind you guys once again how I mix my paints. All of these paints, including the black dump paint, is mixed about 1 or 2 ounces. I've said before 1 part, but I'll just say 1 or 2 ounces of paint to about 2 to 5 or 6 ounces of the Floetrol, or 4 to 5 parts Floetrol, just depends. Water to make sure it's thin, so it can use a little bit of water or a lot, just depends on how thick the paints are after I added the Floetrol. Then a drizzle of Liquitex pouring medium, just, you know, right out of the bottle here. And mix it all up, and we're ready to go. So what I'm gonna do is double check my consistencies. These have been sitting for half hour, 45 minutes as I mix everything, and we're gonna get started here in just a moment. Okay guys, here we are back at the canvas. The paints are all mixed and ready to go. And remember, this is a 36 by 36 level 3 gallery canvas from Michaels. Say a quick hello there with my blue jazz hands. So I always start off, if you follow me, I start off with putting some paint around the edges, primarily because my paints are very thin and I don't want the white of the textured canvas to show through once it's all dry. So I use black a lot, but I needed my black for my dump paint. So I'm just using some blue out of the bottle. And of course I'm using my roller. It's much easier to reach that far across the canvas there with my roller. I don't necessarily do the sides. I used to do the sides, but I just try to get a little bit over the edge. That way, again, it's covered and there's no white showing through. Now again, it's important to make sure that all the paint is smoothed out. You don't want any ridges with the paint, which will cause some distortion as you're moving the paints over the canvas. So as you see, I'm just going over some of the paint there, making sure it's all smoothed out. And I think we're done. Okay, so that's my list of the order that I want to pour my paints today. So there's my strainer. I got the strainer on Amazon. I think I saw Mixed Media Girl had the same kind of strainer, and I just happened to find it, and I enjoy using it. So I started with 4 ounces of white, just to kind of give it a base. And again, I started stacking with the gold here. So as you can see, I'm pouring it slowly. I don't want to pour it too quickly. So I did about a half a cup there. And then I used about a third of a cup of the white on top of that. Again, to provide a little bit of a separation between the colors so they don't mix too much. So here's that beautiful turquoise blue. And I poured about a half a cup in the strainer. And again, a little bit more white, about a third of a cup on top of the blue, because I was going to be using purple next, and I did not want the blue and the purple to be so close together which I kind of blend in. I'd like to have a little bit of a separation, so that's why I put some white in between. And you can use any color. I could have used the gold, I could have used the red or the orange, but I decided to use the white. Again, I poured about half a cup. So here I added the red on top of the purple, and that was purposeful. I almost said purplesful. Anyway, sorry about that. So I'm just using the entire cup. And then I am using, I believe this is the rose gold on top of the red. Again, to provide a little bit of a contrast. And then this orange, which I mixed myself. As you can see, it's pushing that gold out of the strainer. And there comes some of the orange as well. So I'm going to add a little bit more gold. And then let's see what we're going to do here. I'm going to add the purple on top of the gold. That's the rest of the cup, about 4 ounces. And then I'm going to put the white on top of that. You can see how it pushes the purple out. So that's the rest of the white, and that's about a third of a cup. And then turquoise on top of that. Now, what's always fun about these pours is how the color shows up at the end. So just look at how it looks at the moment. I will give you a foreshadowing. I did not get a time lapse, unfortunately. So you'll just see the tilting and when I put the canvas down, just to kind of give you a spoiler alert there. So I am just drying off my stir sticks, getting it out of the way, and we're going to get started here with the rest of the pour. It doesn't matter how perfect it is in the middle there, only because I'm going to be dumping the black paint right on top of that turquoise. Again, this is done in real time, so it's nice and slow. Excuse me there. And I pretty much poured it exactly in the middle. It looks really symmetrical, and I really want you to pay attention to that and look at how it turns out once it's finished moving. The slower you pour, the smaller the negative space is typically. The faster you pour, you're dispersing more of the color and the paints that are in the puddle, and you're going to get most likely a larger negative space. So I did not do a swirl. I just took them over each edge, nice and slowly. Bring it back a little bit. Got a lot of real estate to cover here. There goes a lot of the color off the page. You can see on the edge, a few cells are starting to form, which is always great. The more you stretch these, the more pearls will come to the surface. So you have to have the right amount of paint. And as you can tell, I'm holding it over that edge because I am stretching the heck out of it. And then look, we've got a bunch of pearls and a bunch of reactions. So at this point, I kind of look, see what's happening there. I'm drying off my hands and just kind of seeing how things are going. You can see the red is coming through. And usually about this time I get us to do time lapse, and this is what you're not going to see. Okay, hold on and look at the wet results. Okay, folks, this is really pretty. I wasn't expecting as much white, but that's okay. The colors, I love these sort of streamers that are going on here. Beautiful pearls. The negative space is beautiful. Probably just clean up the edge. And yeah, got the purple up there. I lost the purple. I was hoping for a little bit more purple. I think that's the purple mixed in with the white and some of the gold, so that's fine. But yeah, this is pretty nice. Just sort of show you close up again. Okie doke. So what we're gonna do, let it dry, see how it does. And we'll come back and we'll double check and see if we need to do anything else. Okay, friends, sorry about the light right there. Hold on, and we'll see in a couple seconds here, which will be tomorrow morning. Okay, guys, it is the next day, and everything dried pretty much the way I left it. I'll tell you what I love most about this painting is the symmetry. I really love how symmetrical all of the bands are. And the color is great too. Beautiful white pearls. And I'm just gonna clean up a little bit in there. I'm not gonna take anything out, I don't think. We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. I just wanna trim up some of these sort of elongated edges, and I might just use my acrylic paint pen. So I love this line of purple. I wish there was more purple. There's another bit of purple here with the white, and you got the red and the turquoise, and that's a great corner up there as well with the dark, dark purple up at the upper left. And yeah, I think my favorite part about this is not just the symmetry, but look at all these lines. I think that looks really sharp, and I'm very happy. So I will set up my camera for you, and we will just show you how I clean this up. I just want to make another point. So if you are wanting to show your art to a gallery owner or even to a co-op, it's really important that your edges are clean, and if there's room to clean up like I do in the negative space, it makes things look crisp and sharp and finished. I've been told in the past that the painting might not be completely finished, it looks a little sloppy, and so I started going in, cleaning up my edges, and just sharpening some of these pearls if they need it. So just something to think about, no matter what kind of pour you're doing, whether it's this type of pour or whether it's a flip cup or anything where there are lines or there could be some negative space. There was one more thing. Oh, the other thing is, I don't know what happened with my camera. I'm really sorry that there wasn't time lapse. I do remember hitting time lapse and I saw looked like it was recording, but apparently it didn't. So all you saw was the pour and the tilt and then the wet results. But that happens. So I'm gonna get this set up. We will finish this painting and on to the next. Okay, like I typically do at the end of each pour is I double check the negative space and I go in and clean up the pearls and cells that surround it so it looks crisper and stands out pretty nicely. So what I was using is my black acrylic paint pen. It works really nicely on edges and creating some clean edges around my pearls. And I'm just painting off the edge there, cleaning it up, making it look nice and clean. And yeah, so I will show you the dried results here in just a moment. Okay, friends, here we are. We are done with this painting. I did my little work there on the edge of the negative space. Have a nice symmetry with this sort of gold and white. Now remember, with the white I used a little bit of gold just to kind of let it sparkle a little bit once it's dried and once I varnish it. So I'll go in one more time to show you some of the details, which is hard to see from up above, but you can see the purple, the blue, and the turquoise, and the gold, and the white has a little bit of gold bleeding into it. And then this is at the top of the pour. When I was using my strainer, I had the blue, and then I used that purple, which turned a little sort of, you know, almost like a light pink because I put white in there. And then some of that turquoise at the very top there. So yeah, this is great. Great edges up here. Great edges down here. And so we are done. So thanks for stopping by, friends. And we'll see what happens this weekend coming up. And we'll do another painting. Stay safe, stay warm, and have a great rest of the week.